Peace. Shabbat shalom. We was wondering. We were like, it's 6:31. Ain't nobody in the chat.
It's
Let's make them
quiet
wait.
in the chat. What's going on?
Let's make them wait. No, we didn't say that. Peace, everyone. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Sovereign Eve, Sister Kashia, Ipako Bahamas, Aquia Visa, MGC Randy, Cassie Derwin. Peace, everyone who's up in the space.
Yes.
We are here for Shema, as we always are, at 6:30 on Yom Shishi, 6th day, aka Friday. And we are opening up our Sabbat with Shema Anu. We share our understandings of the Anu Way Foundation's Volume 1. I am Achoti Deidre.
And I am Ema Precious. Greetings.
Ema Precious. My name is Precious. Okay, so give thanks to the Most High Yah for allowing us again through this these last 6 days and these last Shesh Yamim. 6 days, Shesh Yamim. Give thanks as we we've been able to make it through and have this moment of rest. So willingly, all of you have been progressive, right? And going outward and building, expanding on these last Shesh Yamim, so that this rest is much deserved and as it is needed.
Earn, right? As one of our brothers say, earn your quickening. I've earned mine, and I want to get a quick sleep.
Okay, no more sound effects. All right, I promise.
Yeah.
Okay. And give us some ones and twos. Can you hear us okay? Because we used to have the potato chip monster in the background. It's a new year. We are here.
New year, new speakers, right? So Sister Kashias is loud and clear, so I think we're good to go.
All right, perfect. Okay, Ema Precious, will you do us the pleasure?
Absolutely. Right. At this point, it's like, come on, you know what time it is. All right. So we're going to do the condensed excerpt from the Anu Way Foundation Preface, which states this book is not to be read only once. Read the words of this book of knowledge and wisdom out loud. Discuss the convictions of this work with your Anu brothers and sisters. Share this information with your people. This publication should be read daily. Every line in this book can be taken out of context and studied on the strength of its own potential. And last but definitely not least, the truth is to be deliberated. And I know I have to say it again, so I shall. The truth is to be deliberated.
And give thanks. I'm going to go back to the chat really quickly. Shalom, Imanaya. Peace, Chief Yuya. Oh my goodness. Give thanks also, peace, Chief Yuya. Give thanks to Chief Yuya for allowing us to use this space. This is the Anu platform, and Chief Yuya is the Chief Jegna of this movement. I apologize for not pointing that out earlier. Don't fire me. Right, you fire. You gonna use your job. Peace, top tier speakers. Peace, Zaya. Shabbat shalom. Welcome to this. Oh, Zaya. That's not Zaya. Oh, I said Jehovah.
After you mispronounce it,
I did. Peace, Zaya. Nobody.
Zaya, right.
Zaya. Peace, Shem, joy. All right.
Yes.
So, we still on family. We still on family, y'all.
We are.
But we're progressing. We are in family structures, right? Under family. And so we've talked about several things, desperate times, calling for desperate measures, what we do in our families, like the makeup of our families. And this evening, this Erev, we are talking about our design. So what is our design? And as always, who are we speaking to? So this is the Shema Anu. And so we are speaking to our Aelites. We are speaking to those people who are sharing the same culture. And if you would like to know more about Anu and share this culture, you can visit our website at www.anulifeglobal.org/join/, and you can learn about how to fill out an application and be sponsored for membership. So that being said, we're going to get right back to our family structures and our design. Yes, family is a worthwhile subject
Mhm.
to belong. Take all the time we need. We will,
Give
because
thanks.
as we have
Yes.
always said, family is it's the foundation of a community. So yeah,
Yeah.
family is a combo. It's a thing. It's a combo.
Right. And you can't even begin to envision building a nation without a family, right? And
Mhm.
proper family structure. So,
Right.
yeah.
All right. So, my precious. So, will you read us the passage on our design? How are we designed?
Let's see. So, I'll tell you what we're and how we are not designed first. So, we are not designed to be apart from each other. Women are not meant to walk through the world uncovered. When a woman is uncovered, she is forced to emulate manliness. Mhm. Men are abstracts of manhood without the responsibility of a homestead. When a man approaches the age of 40 to 45, he should be working to mate. A woman should open her doors to wedlock when she is in her prime fertility years. If for whatever reason she is unwed beyond that age, she should request matrimony. I think I would like to read that last line again because I think it's like really relevant to anyone who is beyond their prime fertility years. If for whatever reason she is unwed beyond that age, she should request matrimony. So, with that, I don't know. Do you want to do a little recap of the discussion that the brothers had last John? I know that was a very festive, very, very. I know that I missed a lot of it due to the time change, but I caught it later. I didn't get it live, but I know it was very lively from what I could glean.
We can. So, in the passage before it, it covers, and the brothers covered examples of submission
Yeah,
and like who is the woman reflecting, if like who is she reflecting? If there's conflict, like if she's
right,
behaving a certain way, like who is that reflection and who's
right.
responsible? So that
Mhm.
was a lot of the discussion last round, and it was very.
It was. It was. I was like remiss for
and,
having not been present for the live chat. Yeah.
and I was very quiet. I'm not gonna lie.
Were you?
No, it's gonna.
That's so
I was
that's disallowed. How can we be quiet when we always want that engagement in the chat? It's like I want to type, but
not at first. Not at first. I was in it, and then we had some visitors, and I was like, behave. So I just kind of took a back seat.
oh.
So
Well, you
bad.
know what? I asked for you to kind of like just link what we had previously discussed, what the brothers touched on, just so that, as I get into this first line about how we are not designed, right? So we are not designed to be apart from each other. Earlier, like just going through family, if we think about the concepts and some of them you've touched on, but even just the amount of specificity that the Anu Way goes into as it pertains to courtship, betrothal, and even union, there's clearly a commitment towards coming together, being together. We talk about being physically in the same location. These are all by design to have us align with how we should function, um, in order to have community, in order to have family, and in order to nation build. So you know, I think that this line should be really familiar to anyone who's been present or who delves into the Anu Way, but definitely for those of us that are Anu.
Yeah.
We look forward to being together for the retreat, which is coming up really, really soon. So I know we're super excited about that. So I just had to, for those who are contemplating, sponsorship or even requesting sponsorship. It's like, yeah, we actually do get together. So
Mhm.
that's gonna be festive for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Camping.
Yep.
Do we look excited?
Yep. It's gonna
So I
be
get to bring all my things with me. Like
it's gonna be an experience. It's gonna be an experiment.
a
And an
whole
experiment.
experience. A whole experience.
Experiment. But it's gonna be fun. I am so excited and so like amped. Because it's gonna also be in person. So this is the thing. Like if you want to be have community and be able to partake in those things, like you should join. I'm just saying,
Yes. Yeah.
But to add on to what you just talked about, like with that sentence about like we're not designed to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
I initially thought of be fruitful and multiply. How you gonna be fruitful and multiply if you by yourself? I just kept it simple. It's like, well, sometimes I just like to kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. I don't like, I'm not gonna complicate it. I'm just like, yeah, like if you're apart from each other, it is opposite to what we were instructed to do. So
And design,
and
right?
design too. It's
Dare I
like
say, even anatomically designed.
it's
Like
a lock
that's
and a
not
key.
how it's
It's
supposed
a
to
lock and a
be.
key. What's the purpose of a key if it don't open anything? What's the purpose of having a lock if you can't get in and see what's inside? I don't know if that came out right.
I'm like, okay.
That might have been rated R. Delete that from your minds if there are children watching. But yeah, be fruitful and multiply. Sounded like an evil laugh. Who's
I
laughing?
think it was mine when I said with the camping. It wasn't evil. He knows it. That was my nervous laugh.
Looked a little nervous, right?
Right. Yeah.
You look excited and scared.
Scared and excited. That's it.
It's segmented bugs I'm scared of, but you know what? We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. Bring some hard bottom shoes. Be all right. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Just
And
bring
some
your
broom.
tap shoes. Bring your tap shoes.
Yeah. Power tap. All over the power tap.
Tapping these bugs down. Tapping these bugs.
It's gonna be awesome.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. All right.
So be fruitful and multiply. So the next line is women are not meant to walk through the world uncovered. So do we have a question for that? We forgot to put our questions on screen, but it's okay. We'll ask them. We're not meant to walk through the world uncovered. So remember part of the preface, right, is each line can be taken and, read on its own, and it stands on its own. So what stood out to me was walk through the world. Because if we are not apart from one another, that means we're joined together. That means as women, we are part of a homestead. That means we're covered. So if we are walking through the world uncovered, that means we are outside, right, of the homestead. The homestead office, that's headquarters. That's, that's where the warriors are. That's where the protection is. That's where the safety is. So that walking through the world is the key indicator that you are no longer inside the homestead, So if we are having to go outside of the homestead, then we need protection as we're walking out, because the world, that's Babylon, the world is nothing but trouble, that secular place, every time I get out, they try to pull me back in. They try to pull me back in.
That one I know.
That's not where we want to be. So if we find ourselves walking through the world, then that covering is a necessity, and that's why, when we get to that last sentence, that's why it's important, because that covering is a necessity. Did you have something you wanted to add?
Yes, I did. So when in thinking about this line, the idea of walking through the world, I appreciate the thought of like the fact that your father is your first headship, right? Your first master, your first teacher. And so if you're not coming from that paradigm where you have that rooting, then the world is your entire existence, right? It's not just stepping out from under your father in that one instance. It's that you're walking through the world uncovered each and every day. And, the father covers you through and should hand you off to your master or to your new mate, right? And if that isn't happening, then I'm sure each and every one of us who have not had that experience knows the folly that the world will bring or that you'll walk into. Because I know it was discussed internally, but the idea of some who actually choose to step from under their father's covering. I believe it was just last Sabbat when we choose, or a study session, when we choose to step from under that headship and covering and go into the world, how it can chew us up and cause lots of damage. And sometimes the evidence of that damage isn't even recognized until much, much later in life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I know I say this often, but it's like a part of this is almost like a public service announcement. Like, this doesn't have to happen to you. Like, be ye warned, and recognize that doesn't have to be a story, righteousness is possible. And making the right decisions and understanding that we know what's right is really, what I wanted to share.
And I have impromptu questions. Just share in the chat, like, what are some things that may happen if you're walking in the world? Share
as an uncovered woman.
Uncovered woman. What are some things? I know, like, and we talked about this before, and I'll move to the chat in a second. There was a video shared in our internal network, but it was, on social media. A woman, I think it was in New York, and she literally barely got into her apartment as she was being pursued by a strange man, maybe part of the neighborhood, maybe not, but he was in the neighborhood at that moment. And she, by the skin of her teeth, just got into her apartment because he was going to try to enter after her. And I was thinking, if she was a covered woman, there might have been a man home or not. She could have called, and the man would have been able to say, do this, do this, do this, right? And give that direction and instruction if she had noticed she was being followed, if it was beforehand. Or if there was a man in the homestead, it was that's not going to happen here. That would have been swift retribution, from Mr. Wannabe Intruder. But clearly, maybe she was being watched and she was, walking through the world by herself and just barely made it into her house. So, and that could have went left really quickly. It could have went all the way wrong. And she was, by the grace of Yah, she made it into her house safely, I guess. Right. So, but I'm sure not without some sort of stress-induced mild coronary, because I know my heart would have been out of my chest.
Please, Lord, help me, Lord.
Help me! Oh my God.
Right.
The hallway screaming. Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
Peace, Hamza L. Welcome. Your new name. Welcome. Sovereignty says many see man and woman as opposites and not complementary. So apartness is considered independence and translates to I can do it by myself. So sad and unfortunate. How many of us have been, tricked? And I'm going to say tricked into doing that very same thing. I can do it all by myself. Oh, my ladies, you independent. And we just, we would,
you would throw your hands up with her. Right.
I'm independent. And so this is very true, very true. Sovereignty also says that's how you get uncovered women moving in dysfunction, headless chickens. Oh,
yes.
You know what I thought of? Chicken head,
Me too. I literally heard. I'm not gonna sing it because I shouldn't know it still. Go ahead. Let's move on. No, I'm not gonna even draw reference. And you wouldn't know the song anyway, so it really would just make me fetter for the chat. You wouldn't. I'll just say he's from Memphis. You won't know if you know it.
I get it.
Okay.
But I think, you know what? No, because I think they're from Magnolia. That's Louisiana. Yeah,
Okay.
baby. Anyways, Chief Beauty says, sadly, many consider the warning to be a personal attack. You know, yeah.
Yeah. The
But
warnings. Yeah.
you could change the channel. You
Yeah.
independent, right? Change the
Mhm.
channel.
And you know, and the sad thing about that is those are, I would imagine, if you could take these warnings or any warnings as a personal attack, one, that means that you're assuming that the people who are offering these warnings are not offering them from a place of love and compassion, right? So first, you're rejecting light that's being shown upon defects and flaws that are damaging you. So it's like on so many levels, just unfortunate because yes, it could be uncomfortable, you know, to receive those warnings. But
Yeah.
if it's already damaged you, you know, it's kind of like, you know, that moment where just as a parent, but I think anybody can relate, whether you're a parent or not. There's that moment where you see something about to happen and you just have to get snatched up out of it. That snatch up is not soft. It's literally sometimes two shoulders, black and blues. But guess what? It's better than getting hit by the bus. Like it's better than you might be like, ow, what? But sometimes that's how that warning needs to come, and it shouldn't be lament. It should be gratitude and humility.
It's
Yes.
like last evening's movie breakdown. Pow! And that's so you remember it, you know? Maybe somebody needs to smack you into sense, you know? That's very, very true. Chief US's answer to the question: walking as an uncovered woman in the world is a guaranteed way to waste your time as a result of moving with no culturally relevant purpose. Right? You think you have culture because you're doing what you're doing what the pack is doing, what you think is your community is doing. But do you even know your neighbors? Do you know, like, what are you doing with your community? You know, do you have one? You know, so. Yeah, you don't have a culture. You don't.
Right. Because community is implying that there's some shared standard that we're all like, as we deliberate every Yom Shishi, this is the standard. The Anu Way Foundation is that foundation that we all stand upon, all of us that share with you, and even those that don't necessarily share here live, but who share in the chat. We can deliberate because we're striving towards and standing on the same premise. So,
Aki Antonio says she would have been moving smarter if she had a man. Oh, this is, I guess, in reference to the video. She would have been moving smarter if she had a man in her life. It already went left because she was seen as an easy mark.
See?
Message.
Right.
Point taken. Top tier says, one of the things I notice is that a woman is easily deceived. You know what? And
you were just talking about that. Yeah.
And I used to, I don't want to say pride myself because I get fooled, but I used to think I'm not gullible, right? But I as I'm, more like aware these days, I'm like, I fell for that. I am a lot of things that I'm noticing that I thought I was like, like up on. They were actually like technology that I fell for. I'm like, yeah, this is true, And somebody would read that and be like, why would you say that about women? And women are strong and women are smart and da da da. Nobody's saying women are stupid. We're saying that it's easy to deceive, and sometimes we just have to accept the truth. And I can sit back and be like, yeah, the things that I thought I wasn't being deceived on, I actually was, because I was like, nah, there was actually something else behind that.
But you know what? With that, easily deceived or not, right? There is a wider perspective, right? It's kind of like being that horse with blinders on. or even just having tunnel vision. You don't have to be a horse with blinders on, but having tunnel vision, or having, just one person's perspective versus two, just by virtue of not being designed to be apart from each other, says that if he's the one and I'm the two, and he's looking that way and I'm looking this way, guess what? We see more. If he's in the space and I'm in a space, and if we're plural, then, if we're all in this space, then guess what? There's more eyes, there's more feelers, there's more. Did you see that? I noticed this. What about that? There's less opportunity.
Close the gate.
Right. Shut it down. Like, shut it down.
Jimmy, but we don't separate.
Right. No snakes in bushes. Like, nobody's getting into the garden. Like, it's not happening. So, of course, it's necessary. Like, it goes right back to that first line about why, as evidence of why we're not designed to be apart. And us being the more emotional ones, yeah, we fall for it, because it's like a little kind word, a little sad story, and that's it. We're getting snatched up in the back of a van because of a poor little puppy or some foolishness.
Let me tell you something. I'm trying to sell some furniture online. It's so true. Immediately, I was like, oh, this person has a picture, so it must be cool, because I didn't, go forward and be like, well, let me click on it and see it's just a picture and the person don't got no friends. And like,
oh, it's a fake account type. It's a picture.
I almost got scammed. And I was like, stop. Think about it.
Like, take a beat.
And then go and look up, can you scam this way? Like, and good thing I had like a Google number, everything. So
yeah,
but now I'm just like, everybody's a scammer. But you have to have that vigilance so you don't get deceived. But I was almost there. Sovereign Niece is giving us a PSA, public service announcement. Uncovered women are open to being defiled by the world and have no cultural standards. I just let that one sit.
That's it.
I think we all know what that means. Defiled. Dirty. Sullied.
Dirty.
Insert chicken noises.
And I'm still not going to do mine because it would tell my song, and I'm not going to tell on myself.
Dr. Arlene says, walking in the world as an uncovered woman is a setup for failure, and no matter what the type of support she may have. Because they think you're being supported, but that invisible daddy, right? What would they say? Zaddy? Zaddy's the government. Daddy's the government. Because that's,
And you know what? I would even I would even say that it is not a setup for failure. It is failure. It is failure. Particularly because we're taught that what we're taught in the Western perspective, just flip it upside down. So if I'm told, yes, you're liberated, you could go outside, you could do what you want, you could go out at night. I could go out at night to put myself at more risk, to be in more predicaments that I should not be in. Who's outside at night? What am I doing out there? There's so many things to consider. So it's not a setup for failure. The fact that you are uncovered in the world means that that things have failed. Because if you are a youth, where's your father? Why is he not, checking you and snatching you up? And if you are not mated, something's failed. Point blank to the period. So it's a fail type situation. So yeah.
Kashia says, uncovered women are at risk of absorbing into a man-hating support group.
Absolutely.
That's another one. I don't even say anything. Like, Hamza L says, I saw the video as well, but she should have never been out at 2 a.m. I didn't even know what time it was.
Oh, me
It was
either.
2 a.m.
Yeah, because it looked like daylight, but it could have been like
Well,
the
black
cameras.
and white. You know, it's black and white.
Okay,
Probably
okay.
had light in
The
it.
camera. Mhm.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was 2 a.m. I didn't look to see if there was a timestamp on it. Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's back
Mhm.
to what Brother Antonio said. It already went left because like she shouldn't have been outside. That was
Right.
left. To the left, to the
Right.
left. She went left when she went outside. I don't even know. MGC Randy says, answer, many females get bamboozled out of their resources and or sexual purity, sometimes through force, sometimes through by manipulation. That's
Mhm. Yeah,
very
that's
true.
true.
Sovereignty says, yes, Sister Kashia, and when those women bond over trauma, because that's what it is, bonding over trauma, they
Mhm.
fool themselves into thinking their bonding is a saving grace to their lives. That's off. Mm-hmm. Brother Antonio says uncovered women are poured into from so many different light sources that it often leads to confusion. We
Right.
already water, you know, that mem, it's chaos, right? And you need that order. But when you have so many
Pollutants.
pollutant, I was gonna say something else, but it doesn't even have to go to that direction. But when you have so many
Pollutants.
pollutants and sources of light coming into you, you don't know which direction to go in. So
Well, they
yeah,
become. Yeah.
it's like um movie reference. Um The Wizard of Oz or even The Wiz, whichever one you want to pick. When they come, I think it was who did they meet? The Scarecrow. When she meets the Scarecrow and says, "You go this way, or you go that way." You know, that's what's happening. You don't know where to go. You know, you reach
What
the
did it say? No, I'm
not
joking.
even say.
Don't. I was like, don't. Don't. Don't.
You know, wait this way. You know, there's too many. It's too much. You know, direction.
Yeah.
Men give direction. Let's pick one. Or wherever you said we're gonna go, that's where we're gonna go. You can't have too many lights for saying no. Go here, go there. You're gonna be crazy in the end. You'll be crazy.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Shannon Joy says an uncovered woman loses parts of her femininity and can become too aggressive. We get into that.
Oh, that's right.
And
That's the next line.
that
Yeah.
is the next line, but I want to catch up because we behind.
Yep.
Um, way off. Kia says, women under headship will respect that headship and not be amongst what will usurp his authority. Uncovered women are more prone to be more masculine. We getting there. We getting there.
Mhm.
Chief US says that snatch up begins with, oh, we way behind. That snatch up begins with instructions, which are ignored
Yeah.
because you got something on the outside, that outside world saying, no, do this, this.
Right.
People then have to put themselves at risk to snatch you up out of love. The
Right.
responses to willful disobedience are uncomfortable to all. Right. And you know why? Ego.
Right. Yeah.
Ego. Ego
Yeah.
makes it uncomfortable because it lives in defense, number one. It's been built up by all these, false statements. And so you're walking around
Mhm.
all puffed up and manly, like, yeah, I got it. I'm going to do this, da, 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 da. And then when somebody tells you something that's opposite to what's been indoctrinated into you for so long, like you freak out. You freak out.
Right.
Top tier says, what I learned in Anu is that women are always receiving. When she's covered by the man she chose, she's receiving good light and knowledge.
Right.
Peace, Stacy Duke. Um,
Yes.
it quietly to yourself. Ha
Sing it. Sing it. I'm not. No.
ha.
I'm all right.
She says that regardless of the support you receive is key, Sister Arlene. That support is often a push over the cliff into hell, always masked by a smile and an ego stroke.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mandating support groups from every. Oh, all right, it's not
You
working.
want me to read it? You found
No,
it?
I was
Yeah.
trying. I can't. I don't know how everybody else. Oh,
Oh, you got it.
I did it. I did it. That's it.
That's
With this
it.
now. Man hating support groups from every time two or more women with that mentality are in the same space. Go into any public setting and just whisper men are trash. Watch how many friends you make.
Yeah. 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 Or defend in any space, or anytime the idea that someone who's being a man that is being spoken about disparagingly, that, well, perhaps that's not the case. And it's like, how can that be true? Right? He must be what I'm saying he is, no matter how illogical the perspective is. And if you disagree, then you become like brainwashed, or one-minded, or groupthink. And it's like, is that really what it is, or is it just that it doesn't work for your narrative? What the
Mm-hmm.
truth doesn't work for your
Mm-hmm.
narrative, which
Mm-hmm.
is death culture. That's
Mm-hmm.
what it is.
Once story time real quick, because I know we gotta move on.
Yeah.
I was in a clubhouse room, and I forget the title, but I forget, but it was something about um men and women. And there was this woman, and there are people who are being elevated in all these different like social media spaces. And I don't remember her name, but she's a melanated woman. And they go through all these different these social media spaces, and they're like exalted for like these dumb, very
Mhm.
toxic ideas. And I remember like getting on. I'm like, no, I have to say something because this is insane. And maybe I shouldn't have, because it's like these people are not my ALItes, but it's like, you got to inject some kind of sensibility into the conversation,
Right.
you
Right.
know? And I remember her, I said, something about like, we have to be like feminine. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I remember what she said. And I remember her comment was like, yeah, but crackheads, we can't always give a crackhead what they want. And what I heard, and people took that, and I'm like, yeah, but what I heard was like, you just called men crackheads. You just likened men to crackheads. That's what you did, you know? And she was that person's like, and I'm happily single and da 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 da. Okay.
The lies you
Right.
tell. The
And then
lies you tell.
then I said something else, and then she quickly like got off. And then I was just like, I
Right.
was
Right.
like,
Right.
that's how we do. That's how we do that. Like, I don't want to. We're not gonna argue. I'm just gonna cut off. I'm just gonna cut off.
Yeah.
And I was just
Yeah.
like, but it just reminded me of that. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
that like watch how many friends you make. It's like, but okay, and there were men on the call, and none of them said anything, and I'm just like, she just called all y'all crackheads, and it
Right.
was about, I think it was something about like submission or beta. I don't know, I
Mhm.
don't remember, but I'm
Mhm.
like, none of you have anything to say. Like, she just called you crackheads and ran away. I'm just
Right.
like,
Right.
okay. Um, Chief Yuya says, ego makes it uncomfortable for the snatched, but the snatcher risks loss of affection, friendship, and may even put themselves in emotional and
Mhm.
physical peril. This is so true. How many times, like, when you decide to move differently, like if it goes against what I'm comfortable seeing you as, or what I'm comfortable hearing you talk about, or what I'm comfortable like your reactions to my behavior, if it goes beyond like what I'm comfortable with, we have a problem, you know?
Right. But not only we have a problem, this is almost seems to speak to, well, how I'm seeing it is that it I'm kind of thinking of like someone who's drowning, except in this example, it's like you just chose to go wade in waters that you shouldn't have even been in. Somebody comes to save you, to help you, to get you out of um imminent death or threat, and you're actually fighting them. So you're placing them at risk. You're placing them, emotionally, physically, and mentally at risk, just to try to save your silly self from something you volitionally chose to do. And so, I know you touched on the fact that there, and then we're going to move on, but um that there were men in that space. But in my mind, I'm like, you know what, but if they're tired of hearing it, like, why after a while, it's like, why waste my breath? Like, I know I'm not trash. Like, I know I'm not a crackhead. And if you're happily single, why would I even waste my time. Like that's how, to me, that would be the reason. Yeah, why even bother? Because she was probably the one that was, the trashy crackhead. But I'm just saying.
Um,
Um, so do you want to continue through, or should I
try to power
at
through.
least read the next line?
Yeah, read the next line, and then we'll go back to these.
Okay.
We gotta because we have a question with this next one.
Mm-hmm. All right. So when a woman is uncovered, she is forced to emulate manliness. So, um, emulating manliness. So, of course, we've already touched on, just how much risk you place yourself at when entering into the world uncovered. And then, of course, with being out in the world uncovered, the people who, fail to prepare you, those moms, grandmas, aunties, and sometimes even well-meaning uncles and the like, they send you out with tools, like have your mad money. Make sure, if you're going to be out at night, make sure you have your mace and your this and your that, instead of don't be out at night. And those things.
That's a thought. Maybe try that.
Right. But even beyond that, that forces you to emulate some degree of manliness. But then my mind went to the idea of the alpha female. And the alpha female never recognizing that really she's a beta as far as standards of being a woman. And that's it. So it is the beta woman that thinks she's an alpha female that's emulating that manliness. And it's really because she's in a space that she doesn't belong in, trying to be what she wasn't even designed to be in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were a lot of comments, so I apologize.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
I'm gonna skip through.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, y'all, but yeah. So I'm gonna skip through to Akuya Bisa because we have not read a comment from Akuya. I just made up a whole different name for you, Akuya Bisa. She says, man hating is the worst amongst nursing community. I've seen females bring men down when men have been praised for their good works, calling it undeserved special special treatment. Okay, and if we have time, we'll go back. Yeah. Okay. So the question regarding this last sentence. Oh, even Precious, you want to read it? Do you have it written? Or I can read it. This is a question for everybody. Yes. The first part. What are some manly attributes that you have seen or experienced from women? And then for the sisters, you can answer that question too. And then this one is specifically for the sisters in the space. What are those attributes have you displayed? Be honest. This is the space for truth, and the truth must be deliberated.
That was the most menacing I've ever seen you as you close it with like giggles. I wasn't ready for that. I'm like, oh, that's a new side. That's new. We better get through this chat while they deliberate on that question.
Yes. Okay, so while y'all deliberating on that question, I'm gonna go back up. Kashia says pulling away from headship is masking independence, movements, and individualism, only to circle back after all the damage looking for a headship. Yes. One you should have never left or stopped seeking for. Bloop. Chief U.S. says only an impoverished slave stagnates in gender imbalance. Worship one gender while demonizing another is a way of godless people. Original tribal mind would never worship anything devoid of balance. So true. Right. Sovereignty says, clubhouse rooms are dangerous for uncovered women and a breeding ground for those men are trash females. Yeah, it is. I've had similar experiences. You know what? I'm going to stop saying the name on home. We call it group. That's how they behave.
Now that's offensive to those.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because it's not even that, right? It's
Okay.
like,
All right,
yeah,
so let's pick a different one. I kind of like group
just the
home.
ghetto house.
Well, why is that one not offensive?
Come on, who wants to be in a ghetto house? Not even the people in them. Let's move on. Group home is sometimes just the circumstances. Let me. Both can be. Go on with it.
In my in my experience, women groups. Stacey Duke says I have something that lives in my fridge. I don't know what it is. In my experience, women groups are there under the pretense of helping you heal, but it's the way of selling you the independent woman myth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm. It's really difficult to watch mainstream films because the role between man and woman are flipped. I pretty much stick to web series at this point.
Yeah.
Top 10 said I don't
True.
get films.
I'm just gonna, again, another plug for, like, the idea of coming together and what we do internally. But it's like, how many times have we been together and watched the movie and we're deliberating over the movie based on our lens and perspective as Anu women? And it's just like, that was dead wrong. And she was dead wrong. And she deserved to have a much, different outcome for what she chose to do. Whereas others may have the perspective of, yeah, this woman is the heroine, or is rightful in what she did. It's just different. It's just different. We founded it on something else. That's all it is. So you're right, top tier speak. Absolutely.
All right. I'm gonna go because we done lost control again.
Oh, it's long.
Lost control again. I'm skip. I don't know. This is the laugh to Clubhouse. They be trying to get women to tap in. I guess so. True alpha women are fluid in their role as complementary to the man. That's so sickening. Yeah, about the nurse. Yeah, that is. Chief US says, I was in a meeting and a woman referred to herself as alpha, but really only because she was angry and demanding. This is the opposite of an alpha woman. Maximum femininity is what makes an alpha.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is what's hinted that I was displaying reverse misogynistic views when I disagree with the statements being made. Oh, when you at your place of work, when you disagreed with what they were saying. Yeah, that's what Chief was saying earlier. Like, when you say something, you were being the snatcher.
Right.
And so when you snatch somebody out of love, it's like, get her, it's like a public lynching, putting yourself. Wrench, I see something. I don't know. Maybe you got it already, because I don't know if it's deleted on here, but I take it the wrench has security. Security. Oh my! I've sadly displayed more manly attributes than I can. We want specific. No.
But you know what? That's that light, right? And that's a beautiful thing, that you can kind of see yourself. Like, you literally look at yourself. This is what I've been doing. This is how I've been, masking through the world. But the good thing about parading through the world, the good thing is, it's like, now you can you don't have to, and you can come into what your true form. I love the idea of contours for some reason. So it's like, when you can begin to recognize your contours, then you know your boundaries and your lines and how you should function. So that's dope to me, that you can see that.
Hamza L says, one masculine attribute I've seen females display is attempting to instruct men. That one was mine.
Yeah, I think the biggest of, like, choosing to or pursuing being a career woman or an executive, is that just by virtue of what the task is, you're charged with doing that, and it's expected. And it really took Chief helping me recognize, like, oh, this is actually not good for me. Like, this is actually not good for what my contour should be, because it's designed where it's like, no, I'm to instruct you all, and you all use are all to be given direction by me, and that's not how it should be. And even in instances where there is some clarity being offered, it never from a place of instruction, right?
You know what? It brings me back to that sentence, forced to emulate, right?
Right.
So when you're thinking about, like, oh, the corporate woman and the person who has staff, like I have staff under me. So I'm not leading or directing only women. It's men and women. So what am I being forced to do, or what situation have I put myself in where I'm forced to emulate manliness so that I can be the leader and be in front of everybody, right? How have I been adulterating myself in the name of, like, being a boss?
No, in the name of some dollars. Let's call it what it is.
Okay, thank you.
That's what it is.
That's what it was.
How have we prostituted ourselves for a paycheck? Because that's not what we call it, but that's really what has happened. And then even for women who are mated, who are or married, who are in that situation, there's the idea that you're really more wedded to, there's a third party in your relationship, and it's not, your mate's consorts. It's the man who signs that check, the government, if you will, right? So we got this gonna be. We're gonna definitely take our time, Chief, because the chat is long and we still got sentences to go.
The floor is hot lava. Stacey Duke said, I've been the one to come up with the plan. Now I know better.
That's right.
This says a masculine attribute I've displayed is telling a man what to do or giving so-called advice. Yeah, sometimes we need to just be quiet. Top Tier says, giving my opinion when it's not asked is how I've acted in a non-feminine way. Kashia says, trying to do masculine activities and characteristics to prove I was equal and not complimentary. I could do that too. It was praised and validated too.
I could do that too, or even better, right? I can do that. I can do it better. Watch.
Peanut butter. Reverse massage. You know what? I saw this and I chuckled.
What?
They reverse everything just to make, like, we gonna create another victimhood. Reverse, whatever it is. Like, if we need to accuse you or I need to be a victim, we just gonna put the word reverse in front of it. We're gonna make everything an issue.
You know what? I think that's where, like, having some things just remind me of my grandmother, and certain things would be said, and all you get is no other words are needed. Like, I'm not explaining that pure foolishness. Like, move on. Reverse misogyny. Okay. Okay.
It's like that other reverse. See, no words needed. Can two walk together?
Yeah, because I'm like,
can two walk together except they be agreed?
Yeah.
If we're not in the same community, submitted to the same vision, there's no reason to debate. No agreement, no need to be the shot messenger snatcher. Right. That's why I have to just close my mouth in that house, the domicile. That domicile in the tree domicile. We'll do that one. I don't like it as much, but okay. Jim the Joy says, not following instructions. That's easy.
Right.
Zaya says, I've seen many women, females belittle males. Yeah. Chief, you said, said, wow, what's going on with my it's the retainers. Please excuse the retainers. You did say, but I need them.
Don't do this. I wasn't even going to say I told you to think about it.
You did. I was like, I need
Just move on.
I need them. GP says,
So,
did you prostitute yourselves for money or status within Bamla?
both,
Honest.
right? It was
That's
both.
honest, both.
It was to be that boss and have that paper. It was both. It was
Google
both.
me.
Look at my LinkedIn.
That's what it was for.
Look at my whip. Yeah, it was for both.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sovereignty says, for many years, I took pride in exploring the woods uncovered and alone. I actually loved wielding and machine shop welding. Wow. I loved welding and machine shop work for many years because it showed how well I could do what brothers did. Mm-hmm. Zaya said, oh, okay, I've seen many females belittle men mentally, calling them all types of names to manipulate the man to doing things their way. I think we've all seen people do that. And how many have you, women have like seen other women, friends, family, or otherwise do it and then like jump in? I've seen that. That's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And even better, I signed up for every class and played chess during my high school years only to show that I could be a girl and do what the guys did. Brother Antonio says, what is this Uno? Adding Uno. Uno. What is this? Uno? Probably.
Oh,
So
right.
I read it wrong. I gave it.
Oh, okay, because I'm like, that sounds.
I gave it the wrong.
I was like, what is this Uno?
What is this? Uno? Adding reverse to shut something down doesn't address or solve anything. Just an attempt to protect one's egoic stance. Absolutely.
Reverse.
Right.
Skip you.
That's what
you got Uno skip. Skip reverse.
Mm-hmm.
And draw four.
Reverse, draw four.
Take
exactly.
that.
That's how they behave. Soft Darlene says, to be specific, I was the head of the household. I was allowed to call the shots. Can you elaborate on allowed to call the shots? Chief says, both many sisters I know are terrible with money. Oh, I didn't say I was good with it.
All right. It was just to get it. And I did this. So it was to get it and spin it.
All that. Terrible with money, no matter how much they make. Yeah, I never said I was good.
Right. Because then we needed to be more of a boss and get more because it was spent.
Like, I know where it's all going. I need to get more.
Like, wait, and then back to, did you see my car? Like, I need more. I need more money.
Gosh, I gotta have that purse. I gotta go get more.
And those shoes and that belt, right? And that trip. Unfortunately, it was just consumerism at its worst. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
They never really seem to keep proper track of it, showing that they don't really care much about the money itself. I didn't even think it's just what it can get you. It's the end.
Right.
It's just means to something else. I don't even know if I want to say end because it's consumer.
It's not. It's a means to nothingness.
It's a means.
It really is.
Yes. Yeah. And there's no respect for the economy because there's no direction there. There's no head to guide what you should be doing with those funds. So, yeah.
And even if there's often, I'll say for myself, there was a huge resistance to. It's like, yes, I want to save. I want to work less hard, but I want all my stuff and I want more things. And I definitely don't want to have to cut spending in order to get to the things I want. So it's cheap.
And it's interesting.
The C word.
I'm that person who's like, I would whittle money away. But when it came to like big purchases, I'd be like, I don't know about that. But I would be making it rain like little by little. So I'd be making it rain dollar bills, Yeah,
20. I'm the opposite.
But if it was like, and if it was a big purchase, it was like a big thing for me. Like, I remember, we won't talk about it. We're not gonna bring consumerism in space, but it literally is a lack of knowledge, right? For economy and funds. And this is the thing, you're not going to have respect for anything if you don't have any education on it. And education is the key to wealth. So you're never going to be wealthy, so you have this mindset, well, if I work and I do this, I'm going to be wealthy. That's not true. You're not going to work. Working all the time does not bring you wealth. You have to have a foundation of education, you know.
You got to get down to see these comments because Chief gives
Yeah.
perspective,
The
gives
point
us perspective.
that you really didn't do it for the money, that's a demonic shadow excuse. It is not the truth.
Read the next one.
I promise you, if a Negro man told you to submit to him, he would give you the same amount of money you would deny him.
Not today, but
Right.
maybe before. Maybe
Right.
I
Like,
I don't have to work. I
because
have to work for you. Okay.
it'd be like what my
Yes.
mama said, have your own money, right? That's like what is it, the mad money?
Yeah.
My mama said have your own
Yeah.
money. So you going by
Yeah.
that. South Arlene says, when there was an adult male in the home who gave me the last say because I made more money and I was with it. I was with it at the time. It. Okay.
She was with it. Like I was with the program. I was with that.
Oh,
idea.
okay.
I agreed with it. Yeah. See, you throw a little bit of slang in there. Just like, what? You were is there a verb missing? She was with it, all of it.
All right. Get lost. Many females don't understand this you, but the same energy into family building as their job, the attainment of material. Yeah. You know what? And I don't know. This is the other thing. It's like, it's so weird. And maybe this comes, you know what? I'm not going to, it comes later. I won't forget. It'll come later because we're going to talk about it later. So Chief, it would be considered an indwelling spirit of hatred or disdain for
or mistrust, the mistrust. The reason that we would say no, that we would say no, I wouldn't accept that same payment.
I think I don't know. That's a good question.
We'll go down one. You'll see. You'll see the answer.
You would tell him that you can't trust him. Yeah, because I was like, I think it is trust.
Right, mistrust. Yeah,
it is mistrust. You had more trust in Babylon, so your work was to secure yourself with status under the masculine energy that you saw as being more secure and relevant. That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Except be honest, we're gonna put it all on Front Street. Yeah. Brother Antonio said, Mama never told you how to manage that money. Just have your own. What's your Baba say? Yup. That's a good question. Because Baba did come in and try to be like, do this, do that. And I was like,
I don't want to.
Those shoes.
Right.
But I want those shoes. And I want that big TV.
Mm-hmm.
I want. Very childish.
Yeah.
Yep, right. Right. That was the bullseye.
Bullseye. Triple bullseye.
Speak on it. Sovereign needs mad money. Vex change. Huh?
Vex change. Put the accent on it. Gone.
Oh, you say it.
Vex change. Go ahead.
Young women are programmed with this idea, and it plants seeds of disrespect and lack of trust from an early stage.
Even fear. I'll say that being told by grandparents, aunts, actually, I don't think my mother ever told me that one, but there was also a fear that like, I'm gonna, which is kind of weird, kind of stupid, actually, is the word that came to mind. So I was fearful that you could leave me just on the side of the road. So let me make sure I have this mad money, but I'm still being allowed to go with you. So it was just a bad situation.
It's like,
and I know I'm not the only one.
Like, go.
Yes.
You don't trust. This doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like,
and then it leads us to what Chief was leading us to, the truth of the matter, that even if we were, offered, I think he said by a Negro man, the opportunity, I think that's how he put it, to receive, that same compensation to come and do things for him, we wouldn't, because that mistrust is already there, that lack of, Well, no,
Mm-hmm.
because you're not connected to a system or the system, right?
Right.
You actually want to extract me from the system.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you
Or
really trying to?
are you validated by this system?
Right,
Does it,
right,
who in this system can vouch for you? You know,
right,
like yeah.
right, right.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. It's really, and this is all like that cautionary tale, like us saying, yeah, this is slash was, you know, us. So we're not speaking from some other
Yeah,
place.
because I'm not totally
Mm-mm,
there yet.
nope,
Well,
not
we
at all.
still got some loofah scrubbing to do.
Much, enough over here.
And with that, how many of you have mothers who really could qualify to be? I ain't even
Not at
say
all, not at all,
this is
not,
online. I ain't gonna say nothing.
not at all. Mhm. I said it.
Nope. Uh, yeah, nope. um, best money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
Mm-hmm.
and that's interesting. That's just to show, like, I like that Sovereign Eats, took the what would I say? I guess the American version, and even put, like, it's not just here,
Yeah.
it's in the Caribbean, there it's Vex money, here was Mad money. It's like, I'm sure if whatever, I'm sure even in Spanish it was called something else, but it's like that's how diabolical the plan is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Or maybe not. You know what? This is an interesting thing. Maybe now, um, people who are more how do I say this? Deeply in like Western culture, right?
mhm,
Um, but there are some cultures who are more family based, and
right.
I do think that that is the case with some of our um brothers and sisters who speak Spanish, right? Like they are some people tend to be more family based, so
Oh,
I
okay.
think it
I
might
see.
be there, yes, but not as pervasive as it is
Okay.
in other communities, because you even now think about it, when you see the women
Family.
and the children are together, like,
Family.
be
Yeah.
honest about
Yeah.
what we see with
That's
our
a good
own eyes,
point.
observable proof. Doesn't
Mhm.
mean that, yeah, there's some people that exist because they have totally accepted, like, the and all of that madness, but where I live, like where I see families and they move a certain way.
As a
So
unit, right. That's a
mhm,
good point.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm. Sovereignty says kill, steal, and destroy, regardless of geographic location and cultural values. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, it's definitely there. Yeah.
We are caught up. Look at that.
Yeah,
Blah,
but now
blah, blah.
I'm in like the
I know. Now we got to get back to these
because we on
sentences.
3 sentences in. So the
Mhm.
next line is men are abstracts of manhood without the responsibility of a homestead. So I really like this because at first I was like, huh? And then it was like, like I get
Mhm.
it. Um, so men are abstracts without the responsibility of homesteads. So what stands out, right? Abstracts. Um, so what is an abstract? So like when I hear the word abstract, I immediately think like research, right? Because I think that might even been where I first heard the word, like and when we think abstracts, it's like journals, like public health or medical journals. When you read it, there's the way it's formulated, like there's a title that gives you an idea. Title always gives you an idea of what it is, and there's the authors, and some other information. And the first thing you see on a journal entry about like some research that has been done is an abstract. And the abstract is a summary or a piece of what the entire study is before you read it. So, like, you can read the abstract and kind of get a sense of what it's about. You can decide if you want to read more, whatever. And a lot of times, like, you can't even access research without paying for it, but what you will be able to access is the abstract or that piece of the entire project. So when I read this, I'm like, oh well, it's a summary, it's a piece, it's a preview. Um, So, and I looked up abstract, and when we break it down, ab means like from, right? To take away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Latin, and it comes from abtrahere, and trahere means to be draw off of. So it literally means like, to draw from, to draw away. Um, Other synonyms for abstract is like, something that's like a notion, right? So it's the same thing that's summary, like I think this, right? So you think, so immediately it's like an idea, or something hypothetical or conceptual, something that is non-physical, it's not concrete yet. So when you're thinking, so when you put it in context of like a journal article, what I'm getting is like the what you're giving me, what you're giving me an idea of
Right.
what it is, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
not getting the full
The
picture.
full picture, right?
It's not
Like
giving
abstract art, or as
right,
Aki Antonio provided in the chat, existing in thought or
right,
as an idea, but not having a physical or concrete existence. Yeah,
right,
good thanks. Yep.
right. Um, so when we go back to the sentence, men are abstracts of manhood without the responsibility of homestead. I was like, oh, so it's almost like being like unfinished. It's like the complete picture is not there, or the completeness of what this body of work is not there, because it's missing the key piece of homestead. So we do have a question about homestead, because that's really important. Because if the homestead is not there, that is why you're abstract, because you're
Mhm.
missing that part. So we'll ask the question about homestead, but after my precious reads the next sentence, because they kind of go hand in hand.
Right. So when a man approaches the age of 40 to 45, he should be working to mate.
So when we think of homestead, right? Um, what is a homestead? So like, if you know what a homestead, don't use the Googles. When you think of the word homestead, like what does it mean? Or if you know what it means without using the Googles,
Right.
what is a homestead, right? So as you're doing that, oh well, I guess we have to wait the 20 seconds. We'll go back to the chat as you're doing that. So, Sovereignty says yes. It's also the theory of research and not the active application of the research itself. Dr. Arlene says my mother believed in credit cards, buy now and pay later. Ooh, like potato chips, ain't it? Hamza says unproven. Um, right.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, the unproven. I'm like, huh?
Yeah. What you pointing at? Who you pointing at? Man, San Antonio.
So,
Right. Well, while we wait for those responses to come in, the line that you read, men are abstracts of manhood without the responsibility of a homestead, without even getting into, I know you're going to explore the idea of homestead, but I'll at least give it up. So if you take what I just gave, you didn't go to Google. But anyway, a part of it is land, right? Having land. And so it kind of took me back to the idea of the woman, because I can't speak to how or why a man, would not have would have that responsibility of a homestead. But I can imagine when you do not come upon fertile soil, when you're seeking to have a homestead, but you're finding the women that are just, what is it? Emulating manliness,
yeah.
right? That are disobedient, that are the women that we've actually just described ourselves as having been, and still having enough, as I put it, scrubbing to remove. Excuse me. How hard it makes it to actually have that abstract turn into something concrete. So it's like I was able to look at how I've contributed to the lack of homesteads. Yeah, if that sounds that was not how I wanted to wrap that one up. But yeah, I've contributed to that.
That's okay. So, I mean, well, 20 minutes is come and gone. I'm still waiting for this. So
20 minutes. It
when,
might have been 20 minutes.
20
Dang it. Where's the answers?
right, where they at? But you hit the nail on the head. It does have something to do. It's to do with land. And it's interesting because every time I hear the word homestead, what I immediately go to is like the Homestead Act, right? And so that was a period of time in this country's history where the government would give vouchers or land to people who would pay like a certain fee, like to register as like whatever, like please don't quote me, you can, that part you can go Google, but the point is the government was giving people land. They're giving people land to go and set up and be self-sufficient. And so a homestead, it's not the same as like, oh, I have a house and I have my family. No, a homestead involves land and actually like some sort of farmhouse. And what's in a farmhouse? Animals. And so that's where like that self-sufficiency comes from.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same as like, oh, I'm going to go buy this home in this town that's, pretty remote. And no, it is setting up on a piece of land and making yourself so that everything that you have, you rely on that. You grow and raise your own food. Like that was part of homesteading. So when we think of this idea of like being abstract, it's like until you have the responsibility of homestead, is because that land and that self-sufficiency and that total mastering and control has to be complete before that. So when we think of like homesteading, and I'll get to the chat because now it's popping. When we think of the homesteading, this is why we talk about it so much. And I knew this is why the homestead is crucial. It's not just like, oh, I have this house in this city. It's like, do you own that land? Do you have, this property where you can set up and be good? If, what do we say? SHTF? It's SHTF. And not just as SHTF, but just even in general. Can you grow and raise and be self-sufficient on your own, in your own property, in your own space?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go over to the chat because we got some answers. Because she says homestead is all that the man directs and oversees to include land and business, women's, children, service workers, etc. Simon says, thank you, TBI. I didn't say it. Thank you for bringing me deeper to that trust in Babylon. I think that was from before. Yeah. Okay. Brother Antonio says, a homestead is the economy that you establish on your own and land that is capable of sustaining itself. This includes the family and all that the man covers.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. And that's it. Hamza L says, a homestead is land that has been built for the sustainability of a family. Mm-hmm. You see how everything's coming back together? Like, it's not just like, I'm a man and I have this house, and Chief has said, like, that could just be a male. There's levels to manhood. Anthony Clark, welcome to the space. Shalom, theme sisters and fans in the chat. Peace to you. Shabbat shalom, Anthony Clark. Thank you for joining. I meet fans in the room. Okay.
I think he meant.
Oh, I meant. I was like, I meet. Okay, sure.
So yeah, I understand. Shalom and meat to you too.
Yeah. We all fans in this space. This is our peace space. TBS says the thing is, many of us men failed at creating families at a time that we may have wanted, but in our older wisdom, and we're still able to do so because of our prolonged procreative faculties.
Yeah.
Is that the next sentence? Is that coming up in the next?
It's coming up. Yes, it is.
Is that
yes, it is. That's yours. Perfect segue.
Perfect. Women should open their doors to wedlock when she is in her prime fertility. So I'm going to leave Chifuya's comment up there. And as so we have a question. For the sisters in the chat, this is specifically for the sisters in the chat. What are a woman's prime fertile years? Again, no Googles. Put it in.
Google's probably gonna lie to you anyway, so you don't even want Google for this one.
What is it? I mean, they could. I mean, because it gives a generic answer, but like,
That's true.
But put it in chat. 20 seconds. You got 10 seconds left. What woman's prime fertility years? Prime reproductive years. And this is key because of what Chief you just said. Our prolonged procreative faculties. So as I'm waiting, as we're waiting, I'm so sorry. I'm waiting. You waiting too. CBS says we may lose time, resources, as well as peace, but those are recoverable. Mm-hmm. We have a different bio clock. Females who play that game often lose something they cannot recover in this lifetime.
Yep.
So I'm starting to see them right. These look like Google.
And you know what? The last two sentences are so connected that I almost feel compelled to just read the last sentence as well, and we can just. Yeah.
Let's read it.
Mm-hmm. So it says, if for whatever reason she is unwed beyond that age, she should request matrimony. Mm-hmm. So I know we see some age groupings coming in here.
Yes. Right? And they're pretty consistent with what Google said. 19 to 25, 18 to 25, 19 to 25, although as soon as she has her menses. Right. So let's be honest. Let's be honest about this. Mm-hmm. Not saying that y'all not being honest. I'm saying let's open our minds a little bit.
Right.
Prime years 18 to 25. Free game podcast 16 to 23.
Mm-hmm.
Free game
came up in here. Not a greeting. Free game busting the door. Not a greeting, but a definite good answer.
Yes, welcome.
Getting warm.
Antonia says true at cheap. Why did I read the at sign? I don't know what's happening right. True at cheap.
Yeah.
There are many females who sacrifice those years for the sake of advancing a career. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shoes and cars and boss chick. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No Google answer.
Yeah.
Free Game Podcast is much closer.
Yes.
Much closer. I'm so sorry. I don't know if you have it. Free Game Podcast, you are much closer. I've even so what generally is said is late teens to late 20s. But honestly, I think that's to help people digest, because in reality, girls we get our period. Period means you're able to have children.
Right.
That's what it means. So your prime fertile years it's more like Google will say late teens. It's more like early to mid teens. Right. I think it's more like 15 to 25, because the closer you get to 30, the lower your chances are. And then once you get to 40, it's like very, very low. I think like the amount of women who experience infertility around in their 40s is around like 30%. So we know it gets harder and harder. So as much as you want to I'm going to build my career, right? Because mommy and daddy said do this, do that, and then you can get married. So you have this dual thing, right? Yes, I want to get married and have kids, but I want my career first. You're sacrificing something. You can't have both of those things if you are, out in the world. If you have a covering and you do it right, you can do both those things, right? Have your children, and maybe you can go back to school and be the boss in the family and, go out and get that shmoney, for your family and for your likes. That can happen. But if you are going out I'm going to do this and I'm going to go get this first, you are running the risk of losing something very precious. And many women find out the hard way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome, Free Game. Hey. You're welcome.
Bust through the door with the right answer.
Mm-hmm. Come back now, you hear? It says by 21, most have already had a close-up in girls. A close-up. And Girls Gone Wild volumes. They still make that? Early teens to early 20s. If a mother has prepared her daughter, it doesn't seem so young. Who is really prepared for marriage?
Right.
Sovereignty says they advance their careers and sit on the sideline, unhappy, unfulfilled, and feeling less than a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be real. It's 13. Booyakasha.
Right.
Body 78. That's what I said. They still making it? I didn't know that.
I think that's the point. Like you out there
Okay.
wilding out. It don't matter whether you
Still
can
out
you
there
feet whether
making
you in a
moves.
Girls Gone Wild feature or not. Yeah, you could be in one.
TBS says a lot of times when couples wait too long because they want to live their lives how they want, they end up producing a child that may need a lifetime of caretaking because of high risk pregnancies. This is LOL. My goodness. Oh my goodness. What? Go girls go wild. That must be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So yeah. Oh yeah, I said it already. Like,
Yeah.
that dual part about like being married. So that was the point that I was thinking about earlier. We were talking about something, but it made more sense to hold it for this one.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you
Yeah.
want to
And
get married.
I'll just go into that last line again because I don't know. I just really like that last line. If for whatever reason she is unwed beyond that age, so beyond the ages that you all just placed in the chat, she should request matrimony. So I can't even recall if this is a formal question that we prepared, but I'm just gonna go off script and ask
Yeah, improv.
for
Yes.
I'm gonna do it for any of the women in the chat who are or present, who are beyond the age that they listed or imagined. Are you requesting matrimony? Right? We've discussed, and acknowledged in a previous Shema. And it's so perfect how the Shemas fall, right? So this one fell with us, and the one where we spoke about, addressing the shame with shame, like seeking out when we touched on Isaiah, and that was just a
Yeah.
few songs ago. I believe Isaiah 4:1, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah.
That idea of, at this age, at this time, there'll be a time where it's like we're coming our own clothes. We'll make our own bread. Just take away the shame of us being uncovered and allow us to carry your name. They were putting that request out there, right? Where 7 women will come to 1 man and make that plead. So it's like when you recognize that you are beyond your fertile years, you should be requesting matrimony. You should be seeking covering. So it's like we open with this idea of, not being designed to be apart, and that a woman shouldn't walk through the world uncovered. And we're coming full circle with, and if you find yourself uncovered by a certain age, you should be seeking covering, matrimony. So I wanted to just put that question out there. And I know, in many of in the chats, Chief has charged us to say, who's prepared? Who's prepared to be mated in 90 days or whatever time frame? But it's like, are we really taking it seriously? Because that bio clock that Chief referenced is real, right?
What's is going on for many of us? Like,
And for some, it may have already it's gone off. Like it's off. It's off.
Done.
So
party done.
Right. Party done. You did it. So let's see, what do we have?
Right, sovereignty. The crucial part is that last line. This is why we have ceremonies.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Don't you wish you was coming?
Choosing ceremonies.
www.lifeglobal.org/join.
Yes.
Hamza L says, I know you've all seen the children have been born looking old. Yeah, there's some Benjamin Buttons out there.
I'm gonna say this. I know he's not watching. He's like in the Caribbean somewhere. Yes, I witnessed that in a neighbor's family where he was very old, and but it wasn't it wasn't the man, it was the woman. he'd had children in his younger years, and they were very vibrant and beautiful. And then later on, he decided to just mate with a really, really older woman. And the offspring was very old. And I remember another neighbor just saying, yeah, this is what happens, like that Benjamin Button. I'll just leave it there. It's unfortunate. Like you said, then there's a lot of supports that have to be put in place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because I mean, we're born with all of our eggs, so they become a little stale after a while. Stale. Yeah.
Like fifth crackers. I don't know if it's like crackers, but
What? What?
you know, like
I don't.
you know.
I think we're laughing at two different things, actually.
No, you know, like crackers and stuff, they get really stiff and like dry and like.
Oh, is that? I'm like, what's going on? So eggs are like still cracker. Okay. Yeah, if they smell, usually you can smell the stale, so I just throw them out. I don't actually, but yeah. But I also am not sure with this sentence.
I don't know. So free game, can you we might be a little bit behind. So free game, can you just clarify on this? Is this something you do? Okay. Darby says, so don't sit on the sidelines, coy in the corner. Wait and bait. Right? Remember I said that. Don't sit on the sidelines, coy in the corner, expecting to be selected. This is a desperate times calls for desperate measures. Wow. Desperate times call for desperate measures. PSA.
I'll read the rest of the way.
I have braces.
Your mouth is frozen. Frozen. Okay. Miracle-Gro might help to be prepared. Oh, okay. No Miracle-Gro. It's not going to work. I don't know. Get up in Mathis and MD. Hop on in like a petite tenderoni into a Nissan Tech. I don't know what this means. Oh, these are all the things we need to do. Slide in a DM like a satchel page. Slide into home base. On your mark.
Get set.
Get set.
Slide.
Oh my goodness, that was funny. Oh, well, 2000 party over. It's out of time. Come on. I know you know that one.
I know it, but I don't know it. I don't know the lyrics.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah,
Prince. 1999.
I know, but all I know is party like it's 1999. That's literally it. Sorry.
You say y'all about 22 years later at this point. So that's the point. Like me partying, like it's 2000. Yeah, party over. You're out of time. So it's time to be sliding up in them. I'll say the proverbial DMs, right? We're not sliding up in DMs. We're putting in courtship papers. That's what we're doing.
That's what we do.
That's it.
Culture. Welcome, Des. Welcome to the space. I don't know what you're laughing at. Tell us. No, maybe it was the crackers.
Tell her mother. Jesus, tell her mother. Don't tell us. Tell her mama. Go on, move on. Let's move on.
Tell her mother. Me and the family don't see eye to eye. They're not used to alpha males in the family.
Okay. Good. Thanks. So this was this was fun.
Yeah. All right. Slide because we desperate times. Yes.
Yes. Electronic papers.
Yes, Bernice. Desperate times.
Any kind of papers. Look, you better throw some smoke signals.
Message.
A kite. Some DMs.
Papyrus.
Papyrus.
A talking drum.
Wait. Or I could just take it back to, oh no, I'm not. Never mind. Sorry. I just got really comfortable. I was about to, never mind.
Okay.
Okay. So like in Brooklyn, well, in Flatbush, there were like the apartment buildings that were like when you come into the main gate, there were like a series of buildings, but there's a courtyard in the middle. And so if you needed to, call out to your people, there's like a ooh ooh. And so see, I knew you were gonna clutch it. Don't judge me. Like, see, you wouldn't have come outside because that call would not.
I don't know who they're talking to.
I don't know, Mom. I don't know what that noise is for.
I look like a dodo bird? No.
They better go on and call out. Okay.
But you know what?
Call out.
Right.
That's my point.
You know what I remember and they used to be, well, I look like a steak. No. No. It wasn't.
Yeah, that's different. So this was like how you would call out to your friends to like come outside. So I'm saying they better throw up smoke signals, do whatever, put out them calling signs. Yeah.
But that means everybody's gonna come out. Or do you know your cuckoo?
No, just like you didn't know. Just like you didn't.
All right, like
we knew.
Not for me.
Right.
He like knocking on the door. That's for you, your people outside.
Heck, they knocked on the door. Whole different reality. That's probably my problem. Yes.
Now I share it with the class email. Yes, she did. Yeah, that was it.
Right? Oh, Des was laughing because of the crackers.
It was the crackers.
It was the crackers. The crackers did it.
The crackers. Then you impregnated the wrong one. She comes from instability. She brings instability. Take control of your home and set hard protocols. Your daughter may be a casualty of your poor choice, Malachi. Oh, sorry. Malachi is Free Game Podcast.
Okay, got it. And yes, I am Master Antonia. I did it. I did my ooh. So I'm not gonna do it a second time, but I did.
Is that
a dope
might get that woods. When we go to the woods, in a few strongs, y'all might hear you might hear a whole lot of sound.
Don't do what she's doing. That's not it at all.
Oh no,
it's not cuckoo. It's cuckoo.
Like you might hear a whole lot of sounds.
You might. I don't want to even pretend to know what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Ema Press is giving y'all some dope boy calls. Y'all gonna get turned into drug business. Well, no, so we use cuckoo.
Let's see who you're gonna call with them. Who's gonna show up?
My Anu folks, they're all right here. PSA, cuckoo is our call.
All right. I'm not answering to that. Just
oh, we go. Chucky.
You're just gonna keep going. You're gonna keep going. Just keep on. I'm just gonna just keep going.
Okay. Tiny stone to the window. Tink, tink, tink. We could throw stones at the window. Tiny stone, because we don't want to crack the window.
Tink, tink, tink. Right.
Oh, why I gotta sound like a pigeon? Pigeons don't sound like that. They sound.
Why does she know every bird sound? You did the pigeon. I think of a song. Like I think of the Chicken Head song, and you think of a daggone pigeon, and then you gave the same sound earlier. So you just came full circle.
64 arts.
That's one of your talents?
64 arts. Talk to birds. I keep checklists.
This is what we do on SHEMA. I knew, you witness our brother Aki Antonio.
Pigeon with dementia.
Yo, who said that?
What about my proper one?
That means somebody just said you sound like an old bird.
Yes, that's what it means.
Oh my goodness.
Whispers, please no, please no.
So these
Those dudes gonna be looking at you behind you, rubbing your chin. Wondering how many.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Pleasant shaloms. Noted. Shalom.
Not immature as doing foolish things, but I didn't have the ability to see the red flags because I was so new to relationships. Well, when a man approaches the ages of 40 to 50, he should be working to 8.
Yeah.
Now we know. Barbara Randy, so many sounds tonight. Yeah, there were a lot.
Yes.
Chief US says you saw the red flags.
No.
Don't rely on an excuse like that. You ignore them because your desire was strong. Didn't one of the we talked about like this? But I don't think that was a SHEMA. I feel like it was a movie breakdown where we talked about desire and will. It was the Truman Show. It was Brother Lowe's breakdown of the Truman Show, talking about desire, and will. They are real things, and I think those are also points. They're also points in the Kabbalistic tree, and I don't remember what's it. So, Chief UI, if you know, you can please put it in the chat. We talked about desire and will.
We did.
Well, Chief, you're right. I was following my. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It is getting late, so we are moving into
Yes.
X-rated, and we don't want to do that. So, no excuses. Well.
Yes. This was a really beautiful build. We
Was.
had a great time. Thank you for answering all of our questions. I know.
We did it again. We did it again.
I know. We do it.
Keep it quick, and we,
It's like we're gonna just get to these points and focus.
But y'all had a lot of good.
Such a good energy, though. Yeah.
It is being beautiful.
Give thanks. Deidre making all sorts of bird sounds, had me doing my drug mule call outs, even though that was not what it was. I'm just gonna say, but I do know that it could have been that down the block, but that wasn't what the naive, foolish girls were doing.
And I can neither confirm or deny.
You can disavow knowledge because you didn't even know what we were talking about. Like, what?
They would let me go, like, just get out of here.
Go in the house, girl. Go, stay.
Go.
Which is a good thing.
Okay. Peace. Give thanks, everyone, for joining us. We will see you next. Well, Emma Precious and I will not see you, but we will see you in the chat. And you will be joined by Brother Antonio, who will return to give our next section in family structures next Yom Shishi on February 4th. So give thanks, everyone. Okay, wait, we have another comment. Then try again and just use your right mind. Okay. This is to gain podcast.
Instruction.
I'll never be so afraid to put a contemptuous woman away. So that's the snatching. Sometimes you gotta snatch yourself.
There you go.
So give thanks, everyone. Shabbat shalom. Enjoy the Sabbath. Enjoy your day with rest. Des, Hamza L, Free Game Podcast. Our Sabbat services for any Sabbat that falls on the 5th Saturday is open to the public, and so we will be on this channel tomorrow at 12 noon, so you can catch us there. Please join us there, where we will be joined by Sister Maksha, who will be giving the Sabbat message, and there will be more engagement in the chat on her message, which she delivers tomorrow in the afternoon. So give thanks, everyone. Again, if you enjoyed yourself, which we do a lot of building, but it's also in love. So if you enjoyed yourself, please visit the website www.anulifeglobal.org/join if you would like to be sponsored by an Anu member for membership, and you can fill out the application there. Anu is a community, and we're a movement, and we'll be doing some big things. Peace, everyone. Yes, get in those DMs with courting requests before you have too much arthritis to even take the doggone thing. To take the Are you talking? Peace.
Right, my head is this. I'm like, what goes there? I don't know. Peace.
Peace, everyone. Shabbat shalom. Yes. Hamza, Stacy, Brigade,
Yes.
and Des,
Yes.
please come back.
Absolutely.
Toda, everyone.
Mhm.